didn't show up on the other one. How interesting. So welcome. Did you guys have a got it on your screen?
Yeah.
How interesting. So welcome to self-realization. Today, we are going over some healing steps. Hi, Lady J. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
First of all, you know, there are health needs that we have, and 4, 5, we have 7 health needs. And the health needs are, they're kind of like, so what are they? Of course, we know what health needs are: air, water, sun rays, food, movement, exercise. Those are together. Elimination and chemicals. People always say, what do you mean by that? So air, obviously, you know how we teach breath, and that's one of the reasons why I think the whole system was set up here. You know, Reverend David, you probably didn't even realize you were setting it up this way, but breath was right before our healing. And it just naturally happens that way because breath is really important in having air and oxygen for our body. And it's the body's way of integrating oxygen into its system. If breath is taken away from the body, how long can it exist? Of all the needs that the body requires for existence, air is the only one of the body cannot go without for a short period of time. The body can go for longer periods of time without water and food. I beg to differ, but it says so. I'd probably be screaming and arguing, and breathing is the most powerful substance that we need because we cannot go on without it. And water, sun rays, food, movement, exercise. We know when we're not moving, when we're not exercising and getting those toxins out of our body, we feel it. And elimination is bad too when we don't move our body. Eliminating through our pores or stomach, etc. And chemicals. The body is the best chemical plant on the earth. Chemistry is the science that deals with the composition, structure, properties, and substances, and the transformation that they undergo. And the body requires specific chemicals for the health of the cellular structure. So knowing what we put into our body can create chemicals too. We've talked about distillery in our bodies. You know, if we're using or if we're eating bread, sugar, things that create a distillery in our body, we might not be a drinker, but we can create it inside of our body. So it's something to really think about how, what we eat, what time we eat, when we stop eating so that our body has time to digest. Reverend David and I are firm believers to eat at 10 in the morning and stop at 6. And so that way we have that, you know, period of digestion. And I have a lot of activity in the morning that I, you know, for exercise period in the earlier morning, because that's what they describe when you do intermittent fasting, that your body requires that activity in the earlier morning so that you can eliminate and have a proper digestion. So moving on, we're going to talk about the 3 steps in healing. And then after this class, Reverend David's going to go over body representations. So the first step in healing is forgiveness. So the definition of forgive is to give up. To give up does not mean that one who's at blame is to get off free. Giving up means that one is free from the diseased experience. Ease is now established in one's life when we've taught that to forgive is to forget. When one forgets, one tends to repeat what created the disease. So we can have an experience, a bad experience, just say abuse. We can have abuse, but when we forget that abuse, we can find abuse in our life somewhere else. Because we want to recall so that we know what not to do, what not to experience, and move forward. When the diseased experience reoccurs, memory lets us know what actions led to the diseased experience, and then we apply the action of ease. When the word forgive is heard, create the habit of forgiveness with the meaning giving up. The energy effect of this experience. Energy is super important, and we're a circle. And so if we haven't understood our experience to what has occurred and let go of the diseased situation, it's going to go back in, like we've talked about before, and we'll repeat the experience in a different way. And when we talk about it, we do it right back all over again. So disease is being out of harmony with the world we live in. What are the experiences that create disease? Being the cause of unhappiness in someone's life. Each one has caused someone to be unhappy. There are also experiences where someone else has caused you to be unhappy. And when nothing is done about these experiences, dis-ease is alive. So when we're talking about, say, cancer or any of these really extreme diseases, they didn't just show up on the day that we actually got the disease. They have been working for a while in our hearts, in our soul, and in our pores. Anything that we've experienced and we haven't let these experiences go, we're creating something inside to hold that disease and make it alive. So holding a grudge is another way of being out of harmony with the world. A reason for holding a grudge is that one wants to see justice or payment for the action of unhappiness. And releasing that grudge allows the law of justice to manifest. The one who is diseased is the holder of the grudge. Feeling that some loss has robbed you of the happiness that you believe should have been yours. I mean, there's been so many scenarios that I can even, talk about, like people, family, myself, anyone, my life, something that has happened and they're, in the syndrome of, this happened to me. Or they met me and they said, this has happened to me and this is who I am by this disease. Have you ever had that happen where someone says, I have such and such, and they live behind their disease because that's who they are. That's the only thing they know. And they want to live by that, because what would they be without that disease? What would they be? They'd be beyond that, but yet they only know it the way they know it to be, and that's who they are. I'm so-and-so, and I have this. So feeling you've been unjustly treated in financial or privilege matters is another one. And feeling strongly about an unhappy childhood or family experience. A person may have justified reasons for his feelings, but holding on to them causes diseasement. These feelings will only sustain diseasement, and one needs to give them up. Ill health is something, someone, or some event in one's memory that needs to be forgiven, given up. I'm going to pass this information up here about the Bible. Make peace with those you are out of harmony with. there's a little catch 22 on this one, because there are times when you say, I am letting that person go. And you can. Like, I have a situation in my family where I have someone that I just recently, there's been some things that have changed in my life. And when that happened, when my father went into a care facility, a lot of people I spoke to in my family, and one of them was my brother. And I decided, I don't really need to be around this guy anymore. I just don't. Like, there's no support, and there's make decisions that need to be made for that sometimes. So in that situation, I don't always have to be out. I don't have to apologize for something that I didn't create. He's the guy who's creating these things. So it's kind of like it's an unhealthy situation for me to be around him. So I've chosen not to be of happiness, health, and wealth. So there's a situation there where if you've created something to be out of harmony with, then get good with that. Know that maybe it is hard to make peace, but don't continue to affirm how hard it is. By affirming how hard it is, it makes it hard. You see, every bit of energy that we go toward, we are it. And so words, hard, tough, strong. Affirming for good and hardness is in harmony, which is discord. So forgiveness is physical and mental. Physical is the action one takes in life. It includes places one goes, the things one does, and the people who are in those places. People are the common denominator. Places, things, and people are the harmonious in one's life. And we need to give up the people, places, and things that are associated with dis-ease and replace them with ease. So I was trying to have a full plate with diseased people, and I needed to clear my plate. I needed some happiness, health, and wealth there. So that's just an example. Mental is one's thoughts and words. Mental harmony creates happiness, health, and wealth. And when thoughts and words are harmonious with actions, one has the power of the universe with all its energy to manifest happiness, health, and wealth. Do not painfully overanalyze your health problems. The health problem can be sustained by analyzing. Analyzation is splitting a problem into smaller pieces. Instead of one problem now, there are 2, 4, 6, 8, and it just keeps going on. The more you analyze, the more pieces one has. It's like the focus, the more one focuses on something, the more it truly is very strong. We're very powerful. That mind is so powerful. If one doubles a penny each day for a month, the monetary result is tremendous. This is the same process with disease. Analyzation can be a positive method to reach understanding of one's illness, but when it's overdone, it can be harmful. So disease is the manifestation of many years of incorrect thinking patterns. And we are taught these patterns. Yes, we have. We've been taught that since we were very little. When one analyzes any form of disease, they are consciously thinking about that disease, and these thoughts are being put and stored into a subjective mind. The subjective mind, with its power, will set forth to bring out that which is being maintained in its memory bank. I choose not to go to the doctor that often because that doctor loves to say those things. Whether, they're just searching for something in there. They're like, what's wrong with you? Is there anything wrong with you? And if there's not, there's always something to talk about to possibly take because they possibly think that it could possibly be like that, it's like, what in the world? So, uh, you know, if I think about, the thyroid thing that I had talked about before, when I found out that the nurse or the naturopath was going to test me for that, I was irritated. I was like, no, I don't want to hear what you're saying. La, la, la. And I went to David and I was like, she says I have this, this da 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 da. He's like, okay, you can let that go now. I'm like, but she said, he's like, practice the teachings. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yep. I got to let it go because I'd been working on that for who knows how long. And I probably wasn't speaking my truth either for a very, very long time. And now that I am, it's deciding to show up, say goodbye. And those things, you got to clear it. You got to let it go instead of focusing on it. The subjective mind operates from the principle that wherever your attention goes, your energy flows, making it very important in the healing process that one replaces at every step. So every single step, just take a moment, think about what you said, think about if you're going to pull that weed. Because is it a plant? Is it something that you're nurturing for the betterment, or is it not? When one breaks down the components of an illness, it is necessary to take the time to release and replace each segment so that one does not create additional illness. Your subconscious mind brings about the last thought pattern, and it is imperative that one always replaces faculty thought patterns with correct, healthy ones as their last thought. Isn't this funny, David? You know how you talk about giving suggestion on the things that people can improve on, and you say the negative part and then you say the positive part? How interesting when we're talking about, healing as well. It's the same concept. Same thing. All right. I'm going to hurry this up here because I'm going a little slower. So I got some things to cover. So second step in healing. Any thoughts on that before I go forward? Okay.
I thought you covered it very nicely.
Thank you. Thank you. So the second step in healing is your words. As a daily treatment, one needs to KISS. Keep it simple, sweetie, to sustain correct action. In using this simple formula with everything one does in life, you will allow yourself to take things one step at a time and one day at a time. One is always thinking, talking, and acting, making it critically important to know the words one says daily. By keeping things simple and by making the time to say words that create and sustain health, allows one to stay on a path of correct action. And words are extremely powerful and have a profound effect on creation. We also say in our teachings that words are a prayer. That is how powerful words are, that words are a prayer. We also declare daily, I am that I am. This statement evokes the power of Mother, Father, God. Now, if you think about I am, how many times do we say I am something all day long? I mean, I am tired, or, whatever. I feel like this today, or, just really considering backing up for a minute and just pause. I've always been very energetic in my life and was a super hyper child, and had a really hyper brother growing up. And so that was just natural for me to just blurt out words constantly. And I'm sure it was the thyroid that was being affected. Anyway, when I learned all this, I really started to learn to slow down and think about the words that were coming out, because I was just going off of feeling and everything that was going on in my life. And I really had no idea that all of my power I had, I was giving it away by the words that I was speaking. And I was also sharing things that weren't, conducive to my health or any of it. It was just all taught to me, all of it. And I learned very quickly to be very careful with my words. And when I say I am, I do it as, more of like an affirmation, and use those really powerful things that I want to create when I use the I am. That is a definite strongest area for anyone. Also, the Lord's Prayer, it's a very powerful healing prayer. A lot of people use it, and we say go to it. If that is something you like, stay with it. In stating this prayer silently or out loud, it invokes the power of the spoken word. And another powerful way is to use those affirmations with specific intentions, making up a list. We've heard about affirmations before in the past and things like that. But the truth of the matter is, when you're doing this in a regular basis, you will create, you will manifest, whether it's good or bad, whatever your affirmations are. So that's why I'm saying your words are so extremely powerful, because you create, even though you might not think it's an affirmation, it's a negative affirmation. So thinking about what you want to create in your life on a weekly, daily, monthly, yearly is very important. So some of these ones that we have is, I fully and freely forgive myself and loose myself to my good. We say loose because we don't want to be tight. We don't want to be firm. We want to be soft. I give thanks that peace, health, worth, and happiness now reign supreme in me and in my world now. God is love. God is healing me now. I am love. I am healing me now. Those are just a few of them. The act of forgiveness is the first step in healing, with words being the hows and to that forgiveness. Saying words of forgiveness allows the hurtful experiences to come to the surface in one's life. Words of forgiveness toward those who are responsible for the hurts, including yourself, start correcting what has been surfaced. Everyone creates a consequence from their choices. This consequence appears as either positive or negative. If a negative consequence is created by a choice one makes, by saying words of forgiveness towards others and oneself about that consequence can correct the negative result. Consciously stating positive words on a daily basis creates a habit of knowing and plants the seeds of continued health. The words one says directs the actions in life. These words can bring about health, wealth, and happiness, or the opposite. Words are all powerful. Words of peace arouses a positive, harmonious response in one's thoughts and feelings, whereas gripping makes you sick. Negative words and feelings can cause all major disease. The body of a garden, the seeds that are planted in the garden bring forth either a bouquet of beauty and health or a field of weeds that choke out life. Ooh. Okay, going on to imagination. Imagination is the third step in healing. So imagination is forming a mental image of something not present. Thoughts activate the imagination, and thinking is imaging health. Mental images create the conditions of our minds, bodies, and affairs. One only needs to start to mentally picture or think themselves completely strong and well for the subconscious mind to start bringing it into form. Now, what we're telling you here in all of these 3 steps is you are extremely powerful now to make the choice of how you say things and how you think about things and how you create them in your mind before you say these words is the most empowered point of your body, of yourself. You are super strong in this. And to know this, in the first 24 hours of one's life, the body takes inventory of all of its parts. And this inventory becomes memory, and it's stored in the imagination. The imagination has all the health information needed to create and sustain the health that was inventoried in that first 24 hours of life. When you have something that's going on, let's just say, like I talked about, having a picture of a healthy visual of that, and put that thing on your refrigerator and look at that every day and say, I have it, or I am healthy, happy, whatever you want to talk about when you're trying to heal something. Create something in there that you look at it every day and you see that positive visual, and you'll heal that baby and know that you are healing. The mental images of life are the wishes of what one has made. It is the responsibility of that person to image health, and only that person can produce health by forming proper results in your mind, and by holding the mental picture, one is releasing faith to do its work. Simple but supreme. To produce right results leads to greatness. Comment. No comments? That's good. That's a good sign. Because words are a prayer. Thank you for listening to that. So just, we're gonna, in our meditation, we're gonna think about, releasing out all of the things that we've said today that might have not been happy, healthy, and wealthy, and replace it with happiness, health, and wealth. And so just seeing that, and I'm gonna have you take all those items there and we're gonna put it in a cloud. So I'm gonna start off this meditation and we're gonna release out all the things, not only for today, but all the things that we may have held on to in our life that we can let go of and replace it. So
I think
before
you
we
have to
do
do
that,
the giving first.
I said, before we do that, we'll place our love offering in our hands and give it a blessing before we do. David already was going like this. Come on, Angie.
Ah, he was given the hint too. Okay.
I
I
know.
didn't know what that meant. Now I will.
I just talk a lot. As we place between our hands that which you have ignited, we give to the source that what you have given, to put into effect the law of tenfold return to those who give freely and from the heart. Amen. And if you'd like to donate, you can go to unitedfellowshipchapel.org. Done. So let's get comfortable in our chairs. Just relax and close your eyes. Take some nice deep breaths in. Feel your entire body relaxing. Start with the top of your head and feel the sensations in your top of your head, going down your neck, around your ears and your jaw, softening, on down your neck to your shoulders, and spend some time in your shoulders. Feel the relaxation of your shoulders, letting go of what does not serve you. Your shoulders represent responsibility in your life. And you do that with freedom and ease. You allow all things that no longer serve you to be released and sent to a cloud. And let that cloud disperse into the I am. As you go on down the body, you feel anything that's not comfortable, that's been sitting with you for a long time. Let that go and put that in that cloud. As you feel sensations in your arms, any tightness, releasing out all that does not serve you. Going down the body as you feel in your stomach or your lower back. Anything that doesn't feel quite right, releasing that into that cloud. Let go and replace it with your happiness and your health and your wealth. Feeling all sensations soften and going down to the hip area. And know you are in command of your choices. You do things your way. Allowing your coccyx to do its job and relax. Relax the area and release out all that no longer serves you into the cloud as you replace it with happiness, health, and wealth. Going on down your thighs, down to your knees, your calves, your ankles, down to your feet, your toes. Release out all that no longer serves you, out through the toes and into the cloud. Replacing it with the beauty of your life. Softness, compassion, kindness. As you're releasing all the softness and creating softness all around you, you see in front of you a path. The path is a beautiful path with sunlight twinkling through the trees, beautiful flowers, and you feel at ease and you breathe very clearly. You're able to smell the beautiful flowers, and the clouds are nice and blue. And up ahead there is an option You can sit at the water. There's a pond of water. And if you choose, you can go into that water feeling free and safe in the healing pool. Or you can sit and lay in the grass and look up to the clouds, where there's paths that lead around the area. Feel free to do so. If you were lying on the grass or submerged in the healing pool or walking on the path, it's time to come on back to where you started. As you come on back on your path, when your mental and physical consciousness is becoming aware, all that you've seen, sensed, felt, and heard, you'll be able to handle with ease. When your mental and physical consciousness is fully aware, open your eyes. I don't want to come back. Lady J, how did you do on your meditation?
Well, I was ready to come back. Today's been an exceptionally good day. I've had a lot of positive things, like 3 or 4 things came to fruition today positively for me. So I didn't have many of those negative words that I could find. The one thing though that came to me was that I'm having this issue with the AFib, and if I would put a regular heart rhythm on my refrigerator and then do as you say every time I see it, that's the job I got right now, is to find a picture of a regular heart rhythm. So, thank you. That was a great idea.
Yeah.
I've used vision boards before, but I don't know, that never occurred to me. And so when I was, like I say, the negativity wasn't there so much today, and I said, well, what can I learn from today? And that was what happened. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was just thinking of like a meditation that has a, that nice heart rhythm. Interesting. Interesting. Thank you very much. Sabine, how did you do? You're muted, just so you know.
Still in my meditation. I did well. I followed your guidance and I visualized the cloud, and I put stuff in there for today. And, it might just be I'm tired or I'm stressed or, those same things that come up every day for me. Just putting them in the cloud and some other things that I could think of that don't serve me, and just kind of putting them in the cloud. And then went into the meditation, and I'm always in the same field with the same tree and the same guide that comes to me. And it was just very relaxed, and we were playing tug of war. She seemed like to just tell me like, let go. And so I let go eventually. And then we were just watching that cloud, like, kind of evaporate in the sky. So it's very nice and very relaxing. Letting go.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Reverend Christina, how did you do?
Oh, very nice. I didn't want to come back. I put a lot of stuff in that cloud. It's basically like I was raking my whole body out of all this junk and goop and stuff that I just that we were talking about earlier. It's like, oh, we're working on healing. It's like all these things are coming out. We were talking about there's got to be an easier way to just release it easier and calmer and just do it on a nice, softer basis so that it can, whether it's continuously or whatever, just so that I can let it go without feeling crazy when it's there. So I put a lot of stuff in the clouds and got very relaxed. So
Some people can get, like healing crisis if they overdo on trying to remove too much too fast. So we were just having that conversation before class. Mike, how did you do?
I did great. So I focused on some of the stuff that you asked us to put on the cloud. And then when we got to the meadow, I, much like Sabine, it's the same place for me. This time I chose to lay down in the meadow and just focused on being not so quick with thoughts and actions and being more reflective on choices that I make. So, and then you asked us to come back.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Reverend David.
Yes, I remember the time when I found out that the pituitary gland took pictures of the first 24 hours of our life. It's been doing it ever since. And that sort of tells me every place that I go, I'm taking a picture of. And in that picture, it's not only mental, it's also has all the words that are being said and all the feelings and everything is being said too. Is taking a picture of it. Yeah. And when I found that out, there was a person that said that she had an incurable disease. And I said, well, we'll accept that right now, but we're not going to talk about that anymore. And I told her, this is before they had computers, and I couldn't get a picture of the part of the body they're talking about. So I told her to go to the University of Arizona library, a health library, and get a picture of that organ. Mm-hmm. And 6 months later, she says, I don't have that incurable disease anymore. And the doctor made her come back every 6 months to find out that make sure that it didn't come back.
Of course they would do that, wouldn't they?
Yes. So
they gotta have the insurance bill.
and that pituitary gland is still taking pictures. Mm-hmm. And all of us, and another thing, we our body automatically does the forgiveness and replacing, because when you exhale, you don't think about inhaling. It's natural to do that. We exhale and inhale. That's giving up and replacing.
Every day we're alive. Every minute we breathe. Yep.
So
another thing that when you were saying this, what I thought of is movies that we watch.
Yeah.
When I learned all this, I started to really be careful about all the movies I went to. I just chose certain ones that were healthy for me. Like I knew that going to a movie, I was also going to be watching these, commercials. And so I would go, if I ever went to a movie, I'd go past the commercials and go late So I wouldn't have to hear all that, propaganda. There's propaganda and then movies, depending on what choices you're in that energy field,
And when I found out that the pituitary gland did this, it was an anatomy class, and the professor was saying those exact words. First 24 hours of our life, the pituitary gland took a picture of every organ, muscle, nerve in your body.
Yeah.
And no one is exempt.
No one. We're all here to do this process,
Talk about something to be enlightening. That was really enlightening to me.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that before. I think that's marvelous.
Yeah.
So the pituitary is our Akashic record gatherer. Is that right?
That's your imagination. That's where you receive your imagination. When you give messages, that your imagination, clairvoyance, that's what the center of clairvoyance is pituitary gland. So it's got quite a bit of function.
We got all three of those in the coccyx and the pineal.
Yeah.
It all goes, and then you go, there you go. There's your
What
message.
did you say about coccyx?
The coccyx and the
Coccyx. Where's the
pineal
coccyx?
at your tailbone.
Oh, down at the bottom. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. That's a
It's the
great.
gateway to your soul.
Yep. They call that Earth Gate in acupuncture. So like they call it Heaven's Door and Earth Gate, and that one needs to stay open, one closed, not both open, because that's the protection. It's kind of interesting how funny certain things are similar. So next week, Reverend David, he's going to be going over, and this is going to take some good amount of time, body representations. And this is so powerful, this area of healing. I believe we're going to probably work on 2 days worth, right, David?
Yes.
Because this is, we run through this too fast. You might not catch on to it, but it's super knowledgeable, super informative, and it changes you. It changes you. You'll never go back the same way once you know your body representations. And you'll hear it in our meditation too, our Friday meditation, when Reverend David and myself, when we're doing that meditation, we talk about the areas of the body of the healing circle that we have. So you'll notice that too. We discussed that. So anyway, anyone have any more comments before we do our closing words here today? Oops, Lady J dropped off.
Yeah.
Was that just Lady J?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. All right. We'll do our closing words, and I thank you for spending the energy with me in this healing process. Mother, Father, God, we give gratitude and thanks for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to assist us as we go on our path. So when we meet those on our passage, we share the love that is so abundant. We give thanks for this day. Amen. So thank you. Thank you, and have a beautiful evening.
Same to you.
Bye, guys. Have a good evening.
You too.
Yes.